Well, there we go. Welcome to day one of competition. The EDP Billabong Pro Ericeira about to kick off here in beautiful Ribeira de Alas. Those are your four surfers that will hit the lineup. Morgan Sibilik, the young Australian, out of the East Coast. He's based in Merriweather, in fact. He's out there along with Ethan Ewing. Of course, Ethan out of Stradbroke Island. Watch for young Crosby Colapinto looking to make his mark. Showcased at the Freshwater Pro last week. He'll make his show in this opening heat. And then, of course, the Portuguese representation, Henrique Pirate. It is a good morning from now the official start.
Decision 2 at the time?
Yeah, I mean, my parents have always been like just kind of, yeah. Cruisy, you know, do what you feel. But yeah, I went for it, and it is pretty crazy looking back at it. It would have been disastrous not to qualify after having the chance, but it worked out for me, and like you said, Ethan was considering that same option.
But already we got action in the water, and you can see here, Gigs, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, this is young Morgan Sibilik. Just talking of that young Australian junior talent, Pete. And, well, look at the walls we got on offer.
Slamming that section. You know, this is going to be an interesting day.
Yeah, we never really thought much about outside the top 100, but, I mean, these rankings go all the way down to the 4, 5, 600s. Just a quick look at Ethan Ewing.
But the talent in my eyes at that point now, it's like in that top 100, you have guys that can win events.
Yeah, it looks nerve-wracking. Everyone talks about your first wave being really difficult. Here we go, Ethan on a good-looking wave.
Well, Ethan will rip the tail and lose it. It's for the year for Ethan Ewing. We really do expect more from him. Quick look at Henrique Pirate here. Not many long walls on offer just yet this morning. We haven't seen anyone pick a berry out of the lineup just yet, Pete. We can't talk about that too much, Pete.
It's perfect, to be honest, for here. Being that it does like that extra water.
Here we go.
Well, a higher priority being used here by Morgan Sibilik, the young teenager out of Merriweather, bringing that form that he really did find in the third QS 10,000 in Galicia in Spain a couple of weeks back. But here he is again, starting in the round of 112. That goes back to that seeding discussion, Pete, you know, as the guys are working their way.
Obviously, he's living right up the road and surfing the spot since he was 14 or even younger. So this is a great event for him.
Watching the replay here of Morgan Sibilik. Bumpy insider. You might speculate that a couple of those insiders might be on the hunt for with the lip sections.
Hopefully we see some action soon. There's some good surfers in this heat. I want to see some waves.
Well, Taj Burrow frothing with us on the bench here as we get stuck into the first heat of the morning. Henrique Pirate. That wildcard invitation, care of the Portuguese here. Trying to find his way out of the round of 112. Of course, this the fourth QS 10,000. And Pete, just going back to that point you alluded, massive opportunity. It is a story. You pegged that story on how important this fourth QS 10,000 is for Frederico Moraes.
Everyone, 112. I mean, but it just you think of strength in an event. I mean, Frederico could easily go to Hawaii. He's done it and qualified there, but no one wants that pressure. No one wants to have to qualify in Hawaii. You want to have those points amassed already and go into Hawaii thinking, oh yeah, this is fun. I'm just going to surf some North Shore with 3 other guys in the lineup.
Can I ask you, is this the last 10,000 before Hawaii?
In 2 events, gets 10,000 points plus a semi and a 6,000, and he sits at number 2 in the rankings with 20,000 points. He's back on tour.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
In Fernando de Noronha.
Well, classic play of priority then. It's been a while. We haven't seen anything from this man yet. Young Crosby Colapinto, fresh from across the Atlantic. Will make his way back to salt water here as he gets his just opening wave at the halfway mark.
You know, I'm trying to think of when Crosby would have made any tour or any time here in Ericeira. I mean, he's a youngster. So I think if you're going to have an event like that and you have 3 of your buddies out there, it kind of makes things a little easier.
Well, talent rising all over the world, including the east coast of Australia. This man, Morgan Sibilik, has got a rock-solid style. Of course, that board rider culture in Australia just continues to produce. And Morgan Sibilik is just setting some rails for us here. So that was a good input to the heat as well, Pete.
You think about where he's from, Newcastle, and that region has produced some, that type of style, which is always very powerful. I mean, that was it, right? That region in Newcastle that produces a solid bunch of great surfers.
That was a good wave. He did well. Like you said, he kind of took his time and picked his turns. It's kind of the first wave that stood up a little bit more than the others. So he got a bit of damage done. Here we go, Ethan. Looking forward to seeing this one. Hopefully a bit of wall. Looks nice. Nice cut down. beautiful surf.
Trending there was flow. I mean, you see that if you could create some flow, judges were very happy to give you some solid numbers for it.
Well, with live action here, as we're just under 10 minutes to go in the encounter, young Crosby Colapinto looking to get his work done here in the opening round. Nice squared hit from the lip line. And speaking of the lip line playing a part here, there's a lot of shoulders. There's a bit of guesswork here. Tide coming in. You see Morgan Sibilik's fetch to 5.33. See where Ethan Ewing goes with this input. Lovely rail line there and tricky waves. Expected to clean up during the course of the day. There's Ethan Ewing, as we mentioned, down at 93rd. Good hack to the lip though for Ethan. This is a better input for the heat. Nice combinations. Ethan Ewing will just extract everything he can from the lineup here with just under 9 minutes to go.
But right behind him, Crosby Colapinto looks like he's going to move up into number 2.
Well, on the outside corner of the break, Sibilik back at it. Sibilik, the heat leader. And I thought that wave was going to pay a dividend. Peaked on the outside, went flat through the middle.
You know, which helped him with that rankings, obviously. And then this big win that he just came off of at the Sata Ericeira Pro. That event, again, beautiful final day and taking the big win.
On the inside, Sibilik looking for that section. He'll just be able to tag in the top corner. A couple of nice combination moves. He has a section to slam, and he does. So good nuts and bolts surfing from the young Aussie. Lets a rip turn go as well.
Smart.
Yeah.
Sitting with second priority, knows what a good high quality wave is. If you're thinking about it, let's take a look first here at the replay from Morgan Sibilik. And beginning stages of this wave, you're like, you know, but that's what Ribeiro de Illich will do, is it'll stand up on this inside section and produce some nice steeper walls. There's where the connection is, right on this inside. And the rocks will come up pretty quick as well. So let's see, Nat Young's in the draw. My son John's sitting on the alternate list, but there is a few. But this, you know, like I said, if Nat gets himself on a couple of good waves, you'd see that he'd do pretty well here.
Well, these are the kind of waves you've got to pick in the lineup. There's been 2 attacks to the lip here for Crosby Colapinto. Down inside that final 5 minutes here. He has a bowl as well. You'll see bowls often line up the inside track. Not particularly meaty, but 2 good spikes on the outside for Crosby. They could have Ethan under a bit of pressure here. Been held on for a while now by...
Important wave right here.
Ethan's picked this one out from underneath the Portuguese, so nice jam in the corner. There's that bowl standing up that we talk about.
Nice.
Lovely. Loading again. Good flow from Ethan Ewing on this particular one. He's trying to defend that second place position. He knows Crosby Colapinto's got a score coming, and this has been a smart input to the heat.
Huge. This was, I feel like, probably one of the best waves of the heat. Smaller wave, but definitely had the steeper sections. Beautiful kind of combining of carves and snaps. Again, you see he just takes off in this wave and a little flatness to it, but he sees the bowl down the line, and look at it. Stands up there, beautiful snap. Double pump bottom turn into a searing carve, and the connection with the lip. All important. Combining those major moves, and even here on the inside, putting it together. It gets a little loose with some snaps. I think even this section here, where he digs in the face.
Well, down to 90 seconds. Priority has been played here for a good wave selection decision from Pirate. Too cold. It's actually a little warmer than usual for this time of year. Sibilik, who has now been bumped down to second because a great score has come in for Ethan Ewing, is gearing his own rails. We'll head down to the 1 minute mark here. It looks like Crosby Colapinto is going to be a little short-changed.
Kind of a little more.
He's the kind of surfer that if he gets on a roll, then he really starts gaining the momentum. And it's just going to take one heat. Is that one heat this year in 2019 to start swinging the story?
I'm going to say right now, yes. I think this is going to be the turning point.
We like it. Stay with us. It is day 1 of the QS 10,000 coming to you from Ericeira in Portugal. It's a good morning from day 1 of competition. If you're just with us, it is the EDP Billabong Pro Ericeira. Next heat up, Marco Fernandes, the Brazilian, up against everyone's favourite, it seems, this year, Mikey February. That freestyle of February from South Africa, the Rainbow Nation. And, well, talking of favourites, you cannot ignore the Gutowski brothers. Tanner's in this one. They'll take on the Narrabeen surfer Cooper Chapman.
Pro Ericeira, and here's some waves from the break. Of course, Cooper Chapman in this one from Australia in North Narrabeen. Been on this QS Tour trying to get the top 10 spot to find his way on the championship tour, which is the dream of most of these surfers in the draw. Working this one to the inside here, hoping that he's going to get one more steep section, which he does. You know, his style and approach, he does not give up on any wave. He'll give it 110% all the way to the shore, milking everything for it. And then also picking up our top seed, Marco Fernandez. Outside section, nice and steep, but had to race it. And it looks like he's going to be caught behind. And almost gets there, and it shuts down once again. So this one here just going to be a very nominal score. And then also Tanner Gutowski, another one of those San Clemente surfers. You think about how many surfers come out of that region, and this one of the best. Tanner Gutowski's brother Patrick on the championship tour at one point is both these two. As Tanner had to run as well. That backhand straight up, what those high quality waves look like. I think a lot of time spent in the water here. The free surfs have been fairly crowded. I mean, you've got 112 guys that are here in the draw, and they're all trying to get that warm up. Plus, you had all the local surfers involved in it. You know, last night was very busy. Not a lot of waves, too. You know, the high quality waves were few and far between, so they were all vying for. I got here about an hour before dark.
Payouts right there, what Tanner did on wave 2.
And then Marco Fernandez, his first wave, just a 1.0 for that very long wave that didn't really stand up for him, and this wave kind of having a similar effect. He's choosing waves that unfortunately are shutting down. They probably look like they have a good line on them, but they'll move out. Good time to be doing it, you know, considering that we see right now. We'll talk about this next wave here from Tanner Gutowski, and again, he started off with the best number so far with the 5.33. This is a good solid backup. You saw that it had a bit of froth on the face, but the line was nice. He did connect with a few nice maneuvers.
Well, that's the size and shape wave.
This is Tanner Gutowski trying to better one of his 5s that he's carrying, the low one being the 5.03. I don't think that's going to do it.
Of course, we love, there might just be 112 surfers in the draw here, but there will be thousands of stories regards heartbreak, regards glory, claims, and every other human interest as we get Cooper Chapman finally going on wave number 2, just inside that second half of the heat now. I'm expecting waves to stand up on the inside for medium wave selection to pay out the scores here as Cooper Chapman strikes that lip. And finally had a good number there. I think that will go into, might even better his first one, Pete.
So you watch the replay here. This is the 4.67, but nice connection with that first full section. Holds the speed. This wave flattens out.
There's a priority decision from Mikey February. He really has to put a 10-minute heat together. The South African make an error there.
Bummer. You know, that was the start of a needed, essential kind of momentum build here, because he has been very quiet.
Tanner out front in this one. Do we have Pat in this draw? We'll have a look at that. On the inside, Mikey February quickly going to try and repair his situation.
Congratulations, Patrick, on your birth of your child. Bringing a new Gutowski into the world.
Could be a big smiling one too, right?
That's right.
Did he come out the womb just with that big grin?
You would say so, yes. And a pair of Vans on. Been a tough one for him because he's been passed over there at the Vans Triple Crown and finishing just short. And this year does not want that to happen.
Nice inside wave on offer here for third place surfer Marco Fernandez as we're down to 7 minutes to go. This one's had a little bit of a line on it. It's had a slightly cleaner face every now and then. There's been a little bit of white water on it, but it's had a good cup the whole way. It's allowed for some rail work for Marco Fernandez.
What swell direction they like best. It's all the way from north to west, you know, on everything in between. It can be pretty good here, and there's no direct direction that you go, well, that's the perfect direction.
Pete, we hung a lot of discussion on this wave. It did check in at a 5.4, by the way.
There you go. So it wasn't quite what I was saying. It didn't get to the 6.94. So Cooper's got to be careful here and make sure that this one ups his total.
Nice wrangle up the white water for Cooper Chapman. Now some open face. Tags it nicely.
Ooh, watch out. Hadn't had that fall. And then a paddle hard for Cooper Chapman. So he wanted this one. It had a nice clean line, a little smaller on the bank. But again, it kind of hugs the reef and gives him the opportunity here. Some great flow. So did he better? He did. So he actually took the lead with this last wave.
Good lip line work from Cooper Chapman there. Fetches his best number.
World Surf League, we're trying very hard to make sure that they have legs together, where you have some accumulation events back to back. Watching this one here from Tanner Gutowski, trying to better again one of his fives, and had almost, so he's not playing a real defensive role.
Well, here goes fourth place surfer Mikey February. Is this going to be one of those waves that does join the outside to a good quality inside wall? It looks like it's starting to form nicely for M. Feb here. The tall, lanky South African is going to need to find more than this. He's chasing the 8.43 here on the inside track at Ribeira de Illes this morning. He's going to find a lip line. And good approach to go progressional, but it's an incomplete. Do suspect that score's not going to find requirement, Pete. Good work from Cooper Chapman. All credos to him. He found that 5.77. It was a pretty ugly scrap onto that wave face, Pete, but he really did manage to squeeze a score out of it.
And very much so into the lead. So Cooper Chapman and Tanner Gutowski.
All right, let's set the scene for Heat 3 of Round 1. Samuel Pupo, the Brazilian who's climbed up the QS rankings with a couple of breakthrough performances in Europe already this September. He'll be taking on O'Neill Massa, the big, powerful Tahitian. Bino Lopes also out of Brazil, and Luca Maecenas from Peru. Exchange, and this one, Luca Maecenas. What do you think about this? Certainly the biggest wave, what we've seen so far this morning, Touch.
Yeah, this must have been his 6.17 at the start. It's definitely a bit bigger, and it looks like it might have an inside section. Got a big belting out the back, and yep, finishes with a slam on the end. Definitely worthy of hitting the sixes.
How important is to get a big finish on the end as well for the judges?
One of those old wives' tales is start big, finish big, and I believe it's a good motto.
Just a little bit broken up with that south wind. Generally speaking, that south wind down here can put a few little unruly lumps in our lineup. Let's check out Samuel Pupo, who has been on a tear already in Europe. Good performances and results from him in Galicia and in Azores, and here he goes, just kind of shrouding on a little high line. And this one all the way through with a little tag on the end, and then a good way to start off.
Yeah, looking lively. What have we got? Replay of Sammy's third wave. I think this was his 5.17. First decent score for him on the board.
Characters on that tour, and a lot of things to see and explore.
Well, there certainly was when I qualified. There was Matt Hoyes and Mark Okalupos and Gary Elkertons and all sorts of wild characters. So yeah, a bit of an eye-opener for an 18-year-old myself. But yeah, the tour's great. Did it for a while.
So Bino Lopes there, just swinging on a little bit of a lumpy one out the back, and he'll go down. Doesn't get to connect with that inside bow as this tide fills in.
So yeah, he'll be bringing that into this event.
Maecenas swinging, a little shroud off the top from him, as he'll get a meaty little section to run through.
Nice.
Kind of tagging it there with a little bit of drift. Some nice power to his turns. He'll deal with a little bit of lumpy stuff through to the inside and look finish strong. Still kind of swinging, not loads of points on offer for those cutback manoeuvres. Doesn't really get a chance to tee off on the lip.
Yeah, that inside looks tough. It's looked like it's always threatening to pop up and give you a closeout turn, and then it keeps teasing and teasing and then eventually backs off. The event was just mind-blowing. That was another level. So yeah, the Brazilians are killing it. Who have we got here? This is O'Neill.
So Maecenas just sort of struggling a little bit to find an inside Taj.
Yeah.
Doesn't get a finish on that one. Of course, we will have Toledo and Italo in the draw here, so we'll be seeing them surf. We've got 17 surfers out of the championship tour at this event, so we're going to see some big names, some big guns. Meanwhile, flying down the line is young Samuel Pupo, who will just flick out of that one. Doesn't get much of an opportunity. Girl Pupo on screen there, cheering on his brother. Of course, he is flying high on the QS and putting himself in for a re-qualification story. Let's stick with Bino Lopes out of Brazil, just kind of swinging. Some little tight turns with decent rhythm out the back. He'll just wait for this wave to stand up here. So a little smaller wave with some nice shape on it. And he'll just kind of try and negotiate a little inside with a softer ending on the inside from Bino.
Oh, cool. That'll be fun to watch, along with the other 15 of the big dogs. And yeah, good forecast like I keep hearing. That's all the ingredients for a good event, I think. Should be fun.
So Lopez here on a bit of a smaller wave, Taj. How do you think this is going to go score-wise? It's kind of quite a smart heat surface, doesn't make a load of mistakes. Didn't quite get a finish on the inside. Meanwhile, here goes Maecenas, the Peruvian, with a nice tight snap. And that board going all the way around. A little jam on the rail, gets a wee bit sticky there. And he'll swing down with a nice little snap into the lip. And this one will drain quite nicely off that little inside bowl. And he'll come down again, he'll tag it again. That was nice.
Yeah, not bad. Had a little bit of little steep section on the end of that. Nice wave. Horizontal turn, you know, I don't think he's going to get a huge score for that one, but he's just finding his feet, getting a little score on the board. This one had a nice inside though, I think. This is a different angle than we originally saw, but he gets a few bangs in here. Yeah, not bad. Definitely got to pick those ones with the wall, but yeah, the boys are picking the eyes out of it.
Ian Crane was going to advance in first position in that one. It was a real low scoring heat. He nudged his into double figures, just about a 10-20 for him, and it won't be enough for Mitch Cruz, who's going to come in third. It comes up short by some measure. Not a whole lot in it, but that has how Heat 4 is going to wrap up for round one as the EDP Billabong Pro Ericeira. Join us for more live action right after the break. With the inside section, you do feel that Surfer's able to do that. Will unlock a lot more scoring potential. Here goes O'Neill Massin, our Tahitian. Big, powerful unit, this lad. And he'll swing around on a rail. A little bit stuck, but negotiates well. There's a nice turn from him. Just jamming that one down with some nice aggression and impetus. And it is a powerful breakdown here, as all of the region of Ericeira. There's a bunch of kind of heavy waves in this region. And he does have the physical stature to match that. Doesn't get an inside.
Yeah, complete dogfight. Yeah, having that QS priority is just incredible. Who we got here? O'Neill, two beautiful turns.
Mass.
Oh, unfortunate. He was looking for a comeback wave, and that third turn would have been a great score.
And he looked like he was going well here, Taj. Do you think maybe just sort of slightly overthought that last manoeuvre?
Yeah, the lip was kind of a strange one. It was like a bit weaker than it originally looked like. It
got himself in second spot at the moment. So a big requirement for Maecenas. He's having a paddle there. He's looking for a 7.5, under 4 minutes to go. Here he is on a smaller inside number. Little wrap and rail jam. This one will go really soft in here. Those inside ones towards the high tide tend to go into a bit of a hole, Taj. That's probably not the waves he's looking for. Even a short arm, but quite sharp for some of our less accomplished surfers. Here it goes. A nice swing of Bino Lopes. And he's got a little steep pocket here. And he'll just drill into that. A little bit of flair with the tail.
Oh yeah, not bad. He's looking for an 8-1. Could be looking for two waves maybe. I don't think that's going to go into the 8s, but it was a really good wave still. What's he got on the clock? 2 minutes. Enough time?
Got up on the board this year. Let's take another look. Look at that double up section on the outside.
Nice wave for sure. Great start. Wraps out on his second turn, then gets a big finish. I like this wave. Yeah, just getting low on time, isn't it?
Could we be seeing something up around what the best score we've seen? We're thinking about the 6s as the two high scores. Could be up around there, potentially.
Yeah, I reckon around a 6.
So we talked about that priority. What's the plan?
You just break from the pack and you just pick up anything you can that's potentially got a 4. You know, you might be looking at one manoeuvre, so it could be an air. If anything that's potentially a 4. So yeah, you just got to get away from the pack and get it, basically.
Well, there is our Tahitian O'Neill Massin making his way, and he's not really been at this, unfortunately. Maybe a couple of errors. And here it's Luca Maecenas. So this will count before the buzzer. Our heat leader prior to this, looking to just consolidate, but he's looking safe to advance through into the next round. A nice little sharp finish from him. We'll just tag that one and bring it in. So he hasn't needed to overly exert himself. Relatively comfortable. He's led that one most of the way.
Yeah, he did well. He started with that great wave of a 617, and then he was comfortable throughout the whole heat. Yeah, if there was a little bit more time in that heat, things would have really heated up. But yeah, that's it.
It's going to wrap things up. We're going to go to a short break. Join us for more live action Heat 4 of the EDP Billabong Pro Ericeira coming at you live. It's a beautiful Ericeira. Ribera Dilhas is the spot. It's the EDP Billabong Pro. And a brand new Heat out in the water. This one, well, it looks great on paper. Mitch Cruz of Australia coming off a final out there in the Azores in the 6,000 last week, taking on Ian Crane, the American, one of his buddies. We're going to see Marc Lacomar, the powerhouse out of southwest France. And Tanner Hendrickson, the Hawaiian.
Here he goes on his first wave. What's he got? Waiting for this inside to wall up. Nice little wrap. Another carve, not too much wall. Just finding his feet. A couple of calves, and you're going to see an inside section here. Another one. Not much lip. Close to the rocks there, isn't it?
And he looks like he's come out the gate swinging on this one too, as he will look towards the inside, just swooping on a kind of medium-sized wave, but some nice steepness to it. And he'll get a little bit caught up in some white water. Still looking to really unleash, as he'll go quite a long way down the line here. Maybe he'll just have to kick out, so won't get a big finish on the entage.
But yeah, Cruz, he's just back. He's ripping, and it's good to see, you know, someone overcome those injuries like that, because they were two bad ones. But yeah, he's looking good. He'll be confident after that second place runner-up finish to Fred in the Azores. So yeah, hopefully this is a good event for him too.
Came up against a bit of a force of nature by way of Federico Kikash Marais in the final, but Cruz full of beans, full of confidence. And here goes Ian Crane, as he's got a nice meaty section out the back, and he'll just fang a turn, get a little bit of release on the tail, and then kind of go back for some flamboyant exit on a bit of white water. So Ian Crane open up. One big turn for him, not a long way.
Here we go again. Get another good look at this from the front on angle. Just a little starting glance off the foam, and then he bangs this one with a good fin throw. That's his trademark turn, in my opinion. He's really, really good at it.
He's been patient at the back. Hasn't ridden a wave yet. Cruz looks kind of interested in this, and it looks like Crane from fourth priority, but sitting inside, gets himself a little bit of a nug here, and he'll just swing straight away out of the lip. That one will go into a hole. We might see that continue to happen as the tide fills in. Those inside ones tend to stand up.
Has their own ways of staying motivated, but yeah, he's just he's got to keep fighting through it. This is a good looking wave maybe he's got here. He's waited his turn. What's it going to do?
Found himself a bomb here, Lacomar. He's got a bit of a woolly section to deal with, and this one will go fat here. He's going to get a little inside double up. So here we'll go, and a tag on the end. It's a big hit with good spray. Covered a lot of ground to get there, and made sure he finished off strong.
Yeah, yep. Selected the wave he wanted. Probably the best score of the heat.
On the inside here, he looks interested on a little end bowl, so I wonder if that will be a tactic that will come into play rather than going all the way out the back. Meanwhile, here goes Hendrickson, who surfed so well here last year. Had a really great read on this wave, and he was attacking the most powerful sections of it. He's doing pretty well with this one here, and that one will just again run into a bit of that deep water. And meanwhile, about half the way out, you'll see Marc Lacomar, the Frenchman, on a decent looking ball here. He'll just kind of snap a setup first of all. Hasn't got a load of speed yet, and slightly awkward on that manoeuvre, but he'll get a finish for it. Few and far between so far.
They sure do. Here we go. Ian Crane decides to go with priority.
So Crane swinging out the back with a nice foam climb manoeuvre, and then he'll kind of kick up his heels and wait for this one to hopefully stand up now, get some speed. He's on the gas, and he'll tag a nice little hit on the end backside, stabbing that board up nice and vertical. A little bit of release on the end as well, so good flare there from Crane, and he's made a reasonable effort on this wave here.
Yeah, he surfed it well. It was a really weak slopey wave. It looked really difficult to get anything substantial out of that wave, but he did really good kind of milking this and just doing a solid last turn. It wasn't worth doing anything too extreme because that wave was just kind of fluffy and weird, but he rode it perfectly, I'd say. That was, you know, as good as you could ask for that wave.
Great spot for an event. We do have all kinds of slabs and reefs and barrel waves as well in this region, so an epic place for a surf trip. Of course, go for a free surf.
You want to go home anymore? You'd be ready for another month.
Yeah,
All good, mate. Well, his cow is all fired up. We're going to see him surf hopefully later on in the event. We'll take it back to the booth with Paul and Taj.
Thanks, Mundy. Let's rejoin live action here of Lacomar, showing a little bit of frustration on the end. He just was begging a section to stand up for him. It wouldn't really happen. Like the intensity from him, Taj, and unfortunately not offered up much in terms of sections.
No, that wave was so slopey. You can tell he really wanted something to happen, but it's just not much on offer. This has been a difficult heat for sure. Top score is still Mitch's 4, 6, 7. They push into that time of year when the waves are pumping in Europe. Tanner's making his choice a priority here.
Hendrickson pushing wide on the bowl down here. A good first stinging hit for him out the back, and that one, those bigger waves, well, they can push a little bit wide off the reef, and if it's not connecting up with that inside section, it will go into deep water. That's what happened there. So a ton of board speed for him out the back. So west-northwest swell from the Atlantic, and this is away from Tanner, which is important in the context of the heat. It's taking him to second, Taj.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that it's a bigger wave and he got a couple turns in. Nothing crazy, but he did score a 4. Okay.
Gets a 4 for that, puts him in the second spot behind Ian Crane. Meanwhile, Lacomar fading on a bowl here.
Oh, this one.
Lacomar in 4th at the moment, looking for 4-4 of his own for second place. There's a little jam, goes a little head snap on the backhand, and he'll clock that on the end. He'll need to make this, which he'll do slightly unconvincingly, but nevertheless, he gets a finish on the end. So he got it done.
He did. Yeah, it was a tough section to wrestle with, but he was determined to ride out of that one for good reason. He only needs a small score. Thing for scores.
Let's have a look here, Ty. So let's think about that 4-4, and let's put you under a bit of pressure, mate, as a judge.
No.
Do you fancy it for this 4-4?
Nope, not giving it a 4-4. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mark. Nothing personal, but I didn't like that wave so much. I mean, I'm comparing it to Ian Crane's 4-4-3, and I thought Ian's was a little bit better.
X out of that. He's in 4th place at the moment, the Frenchman, and needs a small number, but a number nevertheless. Here's live action. Crane whipping off the top out the back, as he will set up here with a little kind of driving jam off the top, and now it'll get steep for him. There's a nice little clip, keeps his speed going, holds that rail on the bottom, bang on the end, and a really well surf wave from Ian Crane.
That was nice. He did well. Pick those sections. Yeah, this is so close, this heat. Look at it, 7.4 to 8 points. Here we go, Crane's replay. What's he got? Nice couple of turns. Yeah, that was probably the major turn of the heat. And then that nice little fin throw. I mean, it wasn't incredible, but in the scheme of things, that's a keeper. It's entertaining. You know, I'm shuffled forward in my seat, ready to see what happens next.
Rolling up our sleeves and getting down to business. Here goes Tanner Hendrickson, and he'll jam back a little figure 8 rip off the top on a sort of slower bowl outside. It's nice and glassy on the face. He'll get a little jam with the fins, and then he'll tag that one and just keep driving. Nice little swing on the rail, and again brings it into the white water. And a little tag for a finish. Good stuff from Hendrickson.
Yeah, it was an important wave. He's looking to better a 3.83, and he might just do that.
Bit of a bomb out the back and a reposition. And it looks like Crane, our heat leader, has got himself a wave here. So he'll just deal with a slightly awkward entry into that one. And a little hit off the top from our surfer out of San Clemente, California, as he'll just drive down onto a nice looking inside now. There's a good hit from him. The best so far on this wave. There's another one. So good rhythm there. Nice little bit of aggression. Ooh, an uncharacteristic makes a mistake. Digs a little rail on the inside. Eye up for Lacomar and Cruz. Let's have a look first at this replay from Ian Crane.
Yep, well, this is the wave he picked off the end. No one with priority wanted it, and it is looking pretty slopey from this angle. Don't know if it's going to better a wave, but
so Crane, the heat leader, finishing off. A little set coming out the back. This could be the opportunity for Mitch Cruz that he's waited so long for. It's not a huge number that he needs, but nevertheless, it will need to be his best score. He's up on a meaty looking wave here, Cruzy. Oh. Nice little jam snap first of all, then he'll take on the lip, and he does it with flow as well. Nice and easy on the eye as he kind of smoothly deals with sort of a fat section. This way grown a little bit down here. There's a lot of water moving up that face, and he'll keep on trouping through the inside. A little bit caught on that snap. There's a load of chatter and bump on the face, but doing real well to just drill this thing down for a finish. And he's going into the Ericeira, going to the shops. Bear in mind the scores we've seen. We've had a couple of 5s in this one. 5-5 from Crane. Meanwhile, Here is Hendrickson finishing off. And he'll bring this one in. He'll straighten out on this whitewater and bring it home. So in second place. So you'd think he would be the surfer under threat from that wave of crews potentially.
Yeah.
But he might have improved. Ian Crane was going to advance in first position in that one. It was a real low scoring heat. He nudged his into double figures, just about a 10-20 for him. And it won't be enough for Mitch Cruz, who's going to come in third. It comes up short by some measure. Not a whole lot in it, but that's how Heat 4 is going to wrap up for round one as the EDP Billabong Pro Ericeira. Join us for more live action right after the break.
The World Surf League's qualifying series here for the fourth QS 10,000 opportunity of the season. Welcome to a fresh heat. It is that round of 112, a big week ahead here with lots of championship tour surfers making their way over to join the hungry qualifying series. Watch out for Nom Minyak, Jackson Baker, former championship tour surfer Keanu Singh, and Chris Zaffis. Give you that overview of the lineup. Picking up on the second wave of the set here, Zaffis, the taller, lanky young Australian. He's got some rail game on him. A couple of quick draws here to heat number 5 of the morning. Good flow from Zaffis through a few of those turns. So quick starts for Keanu Singh and Chris Zaffis on that Indonesian leg a lot. Early draw here of an attempt for Keanu Singh. Nice squared up. He'd now had a couple of heats to watch the lineup. Starting off with a good roll here. Medium-sized wave offering a lip. I've seen a little bit more onshore blowing across the lineup over the last half hour or so. It is pushing some lip down at our athletes.
4 for the women, so we're adding 2 extra events for the women for the QS 10,000, and that will be a good stepping stone. That's really where you obviously want to go and get yourself qualified, and that's what I was saying about being in that top 100. And so Ian trying to make sure that he can use it each and every 30-minute heat he has from here on out to the end of the year.
Zaffis at it again. Nice slicing on the rail from the 21-year-old Australian. They seem to be just lining up a little more cleaner, and I'm using that as a contradictory word because the onshore's increased, but it seems to be just pushing those pockets in on the lineup as we get very close to the high tide here.
Still, you'd have to be pretty happy with conditions being that it's nice and powerful. You know, there is obviously high quality waves, not big closeouts, a nice big long right-hand point break, smaller surf. I think up at the Albanca Galicia Classic, it was pretty small for the first couple days.
Yeah, it was a very interesting event there. We've had the same story in the Azores as well, Pete. Really small waves to get the opening rounds go. It's a different story here. There's some meat to the lineup and some meat to that turn from Jackson Baker. Not going to blow the lid off the scorecard, but it'll get him moving. That was just wave number 1 for the young surfer from Merriweather. I feel that Keanu's going to go a little higher. Let's have a look at that opener for Jackson Baker.
As we watch Baker here, this wave, a lot of foam on the face, but he needed to get started. Only had the opportunity there. This is his first wave. Came in at a 3.5.
The round of 16
so
on the finals day.
Yeah, so that would have been a big day. So he would have been happy with that result. It's going to keep him in, the top 100. And then this event here, as we see Nome.
Well, here's Nome. This name starting to climb the qualifying series rankings. Got some spice on him, just his inside fin just disengages there.
Huge result for him up in Pantene, up at the Albanca Galicia Classic by Nome. This is his best wave so far. And as he had mentioned, his best result ever on the QS 10,000 coming up in Spain, and so he is trying to keep that going. But he had the same thing happen to him, where finishing quarterfinals, goes to the Azores and loses his first heat.
Just had that absolute shocker of a quarterfinal, but he'd done great work all the way to that point.
5,200 points. That's a big number.
Well, those are the kind of numbers that this man is after in 2019. He's got to get a lot of work done very quickly on the qualifying series. Is Hawaiian Keanu Singh. You know he loves Europe. He's reading the lineup fairly well here, catching smaller waves. This is just wave number 2, but his opening score 467, kind of indicating the type of wave that he's trying to find, that one with a little more bowl and pocket on it. Almost in 1 year qualify. We've had Ethan Ewing do it a few seasons back, and here he is in the back in the draw here in the 90s. Chris Zaffis. So now, not the heat leader anymore because a score has come for Keanu Singh. Picked a little bit of a slopier wave. It's run at a reasonable pace down the lineup here in Ribeira de Illes. Little combo, a bit awkward there for wave number 3 for Chris Zaffis.
He's got to get himself back into this one here with 2 new waves, really.
Well, halfway mark and a couple of sets approaching. These are more meaty walls. We haven't seen a lot of these this morning. It is that case of some of the sets can be too big. A quick snatch on the inside with that third prior for Jackson Baker. He saw the big set coming. Now this could be the payout of this whole set. Lovely line there. A lot of movement on the wave face with the high tide here this morning in Portugal.
Let's watch the replay here. We caught this one kind of midway down. So this would be an important wave for Nome here, and a good clean wall. Just one big turn though, and that wave shuts down. So really, points only paid off for that one move. It's because of this wave. We'll take a look. This was during the break. Clean first section here. See what he's going to do. Times it. Tags the first steeper wall as this wave kind of starts to back off now. Carrying a pair of 4s. So wanting to improve on the low of a 4.3, I would say.
Well, that paddling we saw from Keanu Singh was probably laced with a bit of frustration, Pete.
Well, I like the frustration. If that's frustration, you're going to give a intent in your paddle. I like it.
Of course, it's essentially a reef break, but we kind of keep referring to it as a point break, but it really is a rock and reef-based bottom here. See how this wave forms itself for Chris Zaffis, who's down in third. Already start looking with 7.5 minutes to go at those third and fourth place cutoff positions. This is Zaffis smashing the lip and on the hunt for a 4.15. Looks like he's going to go there, Pete. Still something left on the inside as well. Another little jam. Nothing groundbreaking, but there's been a lip to tag the whole way, and he's done just that. You could be right there, Pete.
And then this was in contrast, so I think the outside work of Keanu, you can see he's actually paddling for that wave out there, so you got to watch that one first. And then this one had a much better inside for Zaffis. So this was an important exchange for both these surfers. But look at this inside, how much it cleaned up and then steepened. And that's what happens at the higher tide. You'll get these waves that'll miss that outside section, carry that energy into the inside bowl. Seen it over and over. Let's take a look at the outside wave from Keanu Singh. 2 turns on that outside section. Some nice wrap. His wave flattens out here, but good flow to his performance on this one. So it almost feels like it could probably improve maybe for Keanu.
Yeah. Department of Portugal. A huge shout out to them.
We actually
and a massive activation from them as well here on site. This is the best contest arena I've seen put together from the team at Ocean Events this year, really looking absolutely on point. Billabong, great to have them involved again. Of course, 30 years of surfing to celebrate here in this region in Ericeira now. You've got the Nixon watch repair counter, you've got the craft brewery, you've got the restaurant. It's a lot of the best surfboards I've ever seen on display. Incredible job from GSM putting that together. Let's see if fourth place surfer Jackson Baker can put together a score here. On the chase for a big number at this stage, really is short of counters, and again his wave selection just seems to be letting him a touch down in this encounter.
There we go. This is the wave. Needs again a 5.65 in order to turn it, and he got this wave on the outside to start this one off. And if you can get that outside section on the right one, it'll actually connect nicely all the way through. And it looks like this wave kind of had that opportunity. Hasn't had any major moves though, more just kind of position turns. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to go to the 5.65, and he needs to make sure that he gets out of this round if he wants to keep that high ranking that he has right now. And then this is also one of the replays here. We've been forecast to have a little bit of rain, which is what we've had. The front has moved in.
And that wave is just going to be inside, so Jackson Baker, fourth place surfer, last ditch effort here. Looks like the clock's beaten him. He was pressured to the wave selection and hasn't been a great input from young Jackson Baker at his campaign here in Ericeira.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the wind pick up from a more southerly direction, and that ruffled the lineup. But there's still plenty of waves out there.
Well, awaiting the official results of that last heat, we'll take a quick break. But you mentioned a high input. I think you mentioned 23 Australians in the draw here and about 26 Brazilians. So great to have those numbers really looking for the breakthrough opportunities. Of course, Ryan Callanan last year sealed his deal.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, but nah, sticking to my guns and staying here with a good bunch of mates, so just having a sick time really, and the event's a bonus.
And talk us through that heat. Conditions, the tide's a bit full, but you found your waves.
Of course, alluding to all the other options, there are those smaller ranked events. Chris Binns mentioning the Philippines, and of course we're about to kick off the QS 3000 in Sri Lanka. On the screens, Elliot Peirata Reid. Good news with that Challenger Series, we're going to have a QS 10,000 in New Zealand next year.
Yeah, Piha. So you'll hear the surfers refer to that. Then we kind of went to a change of calling them the 10,000s. Now we're going back to the Challenger Series. So the Challenger Series will be the big name events where there will be 10,000 points on offer.
Well, call it what you want. These are where the vital points are made on the way to a top 10 finish come year end and qualification into the next year's championship tour.
Or big events, that's the Challenger Series for the women.
Great addition. Of course, surfing, campaigning the equal agenda. I would say better than any other sport, Pete. I mean, really, surfing has put its hands up.
We were at the very first of doing it as full sport live internet feed, because obviously it's a lot easier to get it to the globe. You have such time differences all the time that it's been pretty cool. So we're at the forefront. And now everybody does online live events.
Yeah, and it's been a great story showcasing the entire process of professional surfing. Sort of, we call it under the radar performances, Pete, and they get their numbers out of these QS10s.
That's right. You got to do it. Make a few heats. Here we go. It's a replay here. Marco Minyak. We just saw older brother. Unfortunately, did not make the cut here. So Marco wants to.
Doing this, Pete, that will actually never get to the championship tour level. So it just shows you the depth that spreads back through the numbers. Of course, we get to dig into it all on the qualifying series. Another young name in Sheldon Simkus.
That Sheldon's been working closely with Tom Whitaker, who is down here. Strategically, you think about what you need to do. The wave choice being critical, I think, in any tide, but probably more so in these fuller tide situations.
Let's see if this wall builds up for our Kiwi investment in the heat. This Elliot Peirata Reid. He's spending a little bit of time in front of the television as he supports the All Blacks. And that little body language just expresses his frustration right now.
Wasn't able to surf in the few QS 10,000s early in the season, so he didn't do the Vans US Open. He did not do Bolito because he did not qualify. But he had enough of points amassed that he actually got a start at the Abanca Galicia Classic and has found a golden opportunity. This is what you need to do, is build that profile and the points so that you can compete in the bigger events and get more points. As we watch a nice little flick of the tail there from Sheldon Simkus, trying to get creative on a wave that was kind of difficult. There's going to be two surfers that advance on, and you better be one of them. Here's you see the replay here from Marco Minyak. Inside section, good glide, carrying his speed well. Gets in the arc and had to navigate the potholes, but he does it well, and a little drift of the fin. So this will be the best wave for Marco that he has in his scoreline. We're waiting on it. Pair of twos right now.
Kalani DeVault, the highest ranked in the red jersey, can have something to do with it. Knifes into it. Interesting spray job underfoot as well. Seen a couple of black boards.
Well, that thing's full carbon fiber. Literally, that whole entire board, that is all black carbon with an epoxy glue. Pretty expensive piece of equipment, considering the entire board is literally carbon fiber.
Sounds like an airplane wing.
It does, and if you think about that type of construction, very, very strong. And he loves them. He says that he's been super psyched.
And he's got that great style. You think he might want to capitalize on the lineup here in Ericeira, but meanwhile, Australian Sheldon Simkus going to come from quite deep this time, just to wrangle with the whitewater. Now, often what will happen is they'll come from behind, and then he'll get a big bowl on the inside. That one has not formed with the full tide, and Sheldon Simkus will
into his top two, just a 1.7 for that. But then Marco trying to better a low of a 2.5 here, and I think he has done that. You see the replay there, tagging that last final section. So nice work for him. Going to be in the mid-range.
Day one of competition. Welcome you back to heat number six of 8 to go to wrap up the round of 112, and some good lines being drawn here from Sheldon Simkus. He's involved in a bit of a tussle here with Imai Kalani de Volt. Well, it looks like Marcus Mignot has bumped down a second as we catch up on the action here.
Upwards in the double digits here. Let's take a look here at Sheldon Simkus as we try and squint our eyes through the rain-filled screen there. So just some low stuff. This was actually from earlier. We saw that wave live. Let's
take him out of the discussion because he did nothing. I mean, it was just absolutely...
But his pace was pretty darn easy going,
yes,
right, overall.
Let's see how the pace unfolds here. This is our new heat leader, the Hawaiian Imai Kalani. Just keeps that board weaving. Rails always engaging. Smaller wave, but tail release for Imai Kalani, who really did snatch the lead with just a soft 3-2-3. So the effort is to now up another number and replace that to add to his 6.07. Pretty overhead Hossegor. So now that Jadis doesn't carry the pressure of and he's always carried the pressure in the back part of the year.
He likes it. He just puts himself in the pressure cooker. It's part of competition, and you got to thrive in it. I mean, that's why he does it.
Lots of surfing talent from all around the world. We're seeing more numbers come out of the land of the Silver Cloud.
He's easily going to pass. I mean, he loses first round in this one. He gets 600 points. So he's got to make a couple heats, and he's going to be adding points.
So, Pete, here's a question. If Federico Moraes was to win here, how high would he go? Would he actually be in number one on the QS?
That's a good question. Let's look
all those numbers.
Do the math, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's, like I said, he's sitting on 14,400. You add 10,000, that's 24,000.
But then it depends how...
Take away 650 points, that's 23,000 and some change. Yes, 6,500 for his...
Kanoa Igarashi won this whole thing last year, I think on 26,000, right?
Yep.
Somewhere around there.
Yep.
So there's still room for Jadson. What are we making of this little punt on the inside here, Pete? Is this going to play a part for...
Yes, it is. It's going to be his best wave. Ellie to reach exclamation point at the end of a ride. We haven't seen a whole lot of aerials today.
Following the live action here, this is Sheldon Simkus, who's quietly gone about his business of getting rail work done in the lineup here in Ribeira de Illes. Inside section for him, good little tag. Sheldon Simkus being smart here. He's going to ditch a 3.77 with this as well, Pete. So it looks like a progression for this relatively unknown young name. Good work there from him. It's a matter of who's going to go with him, we feel. Imai Kalani in second, Marco Mignot down in third, and Elliot Perrier-Reid meanwhile popped the air for just a 3.13. As here we go with D-Volt. This is all surfing down to beat the clock at the end of heat number 6.
Control wave previous to... Whoa, nice little whip there. I think he's going to add points. That's Imai's last. So carrying a 5.13 as a low. We didn't get to see that maneuver beforehand.
Everyone's going to have a dip at it.
Wow, little finish here, huh? Everyone's getting a little piece of the action. They're all trying to get those second numbers in, but looks like to me, and you look at the scoreboard, Sheldon Simkus was able to find a beautiful wave. And this wave here for Marco is going to factor in, I would believe, too.
Well, good rail work there from Marco Mignot.
Well, we're going to watch Marco here because he is the one who is in need of the biggest number. And probably got the best of the exchange. Great flow on this one. There wasn't any super high impact moves, just great speed that he carried. And he's got to watch out for the rocks right here, but he is not going to give up, spraying out his fellow competitor in Imai. Considering Imai's in that second position, he would have had to watch that whole entire wave.
Well, the one punt air from Elliot Perrier-Reid a couple of minutes back, Pete, only brought a 3.13. And we'll wait for the judges to settle those scores. A busy finish to heat number 6. And that is so classic of a qualifying series heat. Stay with us. We'll continue and bring you those official results from the EDP Billabong Pro Ericeira.
Brand new heat out in the water. Josh Muniz out of Hawaii. Matias Navarro of Brazil. Ruben Vitoria from the Basque Country up there in North Spain. And Thomas Dubier from Guadeloupe representing France.
Surfer from the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. We'll be stoked to roll on through to the next round. Bit of action right now. This is Matias Navarro.
Here goes Navarro, the Brazilian. Got that kind of slender physique, and he's so whippy on the rail. We saw him ripping in the powerful beach breaks in the Azores. And he's found himself a decent runner here with some nice down-the-line energy. A little kind of clipping snap off the top. And then he'll get a little caught on a wobbly section. There's a good stinging hit from Matias. And he's still going down here with plenty of speed. So not a ton of variety so far, but nevertheless, Just keeps applying pressure to that rail.
The beach, obviously, he's from Oahu. The Moniz family royalty on the North Shore. They're actually from in town, but they're royalty all over Oahu. And yeah, there would have been about 50 people in the water to cheer their boy up the beach. Here goes the replay of Matheus Navarro. And, well, he had to do some work. The wave never really cooperated with him too much, but he really forced the issue and sort of rattled off a decent combination of turns. Not much variety, but pretty fluent from start to finish, and he was happy.
Through. Meanwhile, behind him, Josh Maecenas comes into this one ranked 61st on the QS. Of course, got a perfect 10 on finals day on Sunday out in the Mid-Atlantic. And looking to just carry over that momentum. Came to Europe, ranked down there in the 100s, so he's jumped up about 40-odd places.
Scored down the line. Here's the replay of Thomas De Beer doing some work. The surfer from France, well, from the Caribbean actually. Held his rail for an age through that first turn. Again, a slopey wave, really not giving him much to work with to this point. We'll see the surfers stick with these ones all the way through to the inside, see if they can get the connection.
Have a look at the work done during that interview. It's our bass surfer, Ruben Vittoria.
Yep, and so we're still waiting for the score to come in for this one. Josh Moniz locked in a 6.83 for his last. And, well, this is one of those high tide warblers we were talking about, really having to force the issue. Finds a section there, gave it a belt.
A quite understated guy, as we will see Navarro in second place, just kind of fading into a bowl. This one will go a little bit soft, and he'll redirect that opening section again, just trying to stay back. It's nicely done, little jam, some flamboyance off the white water, just to stay in control of this wave. And he sets up that section sweetly. So he's done well to get through here. And again, nice little snap. And he will get this double up to cooperate. And if he tags this here, this is going to be another big number for the Brazilian.
He needs a .33. And if you look at the replay, he's pretty much moved into the lead by now already. But down the end, it was where it all came together for the big Brazilian surfer. Flying down the line, hammers that section, not done yet. The wave bends back at him, stands up, he clips it a couple more times. And then really went to work on this end section. Plenty of spark.
Generally not at its greatest roundabout height. Well, we've gone through that already, and we are running out now towards that mid-tide mark, as we'll see Thomas De Beer. Such a powerful surfer, loves competing as well. And he is swinging down here, using that rail, just jamming that ball back. Nice and crisp from him. Doesn't have much in front of him. Kind of restricts his options a little bit, as he'll just wait for an inside to stand up. And a little tag to finish on the end. Yep, doing really, really well, Silva. And we'll be seeing him down here as well, of course. Coming up in the next round, as we see a speculation from Navarro. He does have a wicked air game, Matheus.
Thomas De Beer got a 4.67 for his last wave. That's his best. Here goes the man currently sitting in fourth. He's cashed in his priority on this one. This is Ruben Vittoria from the Basque Country. And, he's doing some rail work through to the inside. Signs off, can't quite ride out of that one, so probably not going to help his situation too greatly. 11.5 minutes to go.
Vittoria having a swing there, looking to try and get himself back in this. Niz hasn't put a high score together in second. Here's another look at that wave, Bins.
Yeah, well, this is Ruben. He had priority and obviously decided he liked the looks of it. Didn't really cooperate with him too much down the line, and then just gets a little bit.
3 more 10,000, including this one. This is the last one ahead of the Triple Crown. There's so much at stake. Let's see a surfer from the island of Oahu. It's Josh Moniz, and he is swinging on a sort of a smaller wave here. So just keep that energy in the pocket with some little figure 8 wrapping turns. Now we'll get his skates on with some speed. And just kind of loses it on the bottom turn. So a bit of a mistake there for Josh. He was looking to wash off a 1.67, which was his backup. High score of a 6.83, and not really sure what happened there, Binsey.
Second score just to really lock down second place. He got off to a great start, looking really springy out of the first 2 turns. Super lively. Love the way he just smashes the rebound there. And right about now, he's probably thinking, okay, if I can smash this one, I've got like a 5 in the bank. And just a little bobble, and that cooked it for him. So it's going to be a 2.53. Does extend his hold on second place. Here goes the heat leader, Matheus Navarro. Not a lot to worry about for Matheus at the moment.
Navarro swinging on the outside. He'll just stand on the tail and wait for this wave to stand up on the inside, as he will redirect now with Some of that smooth kind of rail surfing we've come to admire from him.
He low-balled him. It wasn't a perfect 10.
There was a judge that low-balled him, true, as we'll just check out this replay of Navarro. It's just going to be a throwaway for Maecenas. He'll swing on through here, but I don't think he'll be threatening that 6.07.
So what do you reckon? Right about now, he starts standing on the tail. I was thinking, is this Gabby at the wave pool? What's the section he's seen down the line?
Looking for something, wasn't he, on the inside? Even though it's quite smart and polished, it's relatively pedestrian surf. You just got to love that natural ability oozing through from the Hawaiian. Meanwhile, from another tropical island, a different part of the world, Thomas Debiet, the young Guadeloupean, there's a little speculation on a soft wave which won't really go anywhere. Pretty light winds, a little bit of texture and ruffle going through this, as well as that high tide. There goes Joshua Maecenas, the Hawaiian, with a little rip off the top early on, and it's a soft wave through here. We'll just have to be a little bit patient now, as it eventually will section up in front of him, and he goes on the attack, gets some speed generated. Nice little huck from him, stomps it super clean.
Loving it. And now here we see the replay of Josh Maecenas. I really like this wave, seamless. He let the wave dictate. He didn't go hunting sections. He just surfed exactly what was in front of him. And then when the time came, put the foot down, took to the sky, rode out of that one nice and clean.
Fishing manoeuvre on the end, which won't come. Here goes the rail work of Debiet. See these kind of slices. A little bit of a meaty one. It's pushing a bit wide here, and he'll get a double up. Tag that. Still keep his momentum going and his speed, and another belt from him. Good stuff from Thomas. And again, a nice little rail jam in a quite tight pocket, and finishes just in front of the rocks.
Yep, rather ungainly dismount. Have a look at some quick replays. And this is the French Caribbean surfer. Driving through that first turn, like the second one, fluently through that big carve. And then just working his way down the line. Big bash up into the lip. And really seamlessly transitioning off the bottom. Crunched it a few times.
Strong total in the context of today's conditions, and good value for first place, the Brazilian. Meanwhile, here goes our Spaniard Vittorio on quite a meaty section here. Let's do a little bit of work at the bottom of the wave to come around. Gets a nice stinging turn. With a little snap on the rail, and then a sort of set up here, and that will grab his tail and get a little bit wobbly on him. As he'll look just to kind of get on the gas and accelerate out in front and snatch to that last manoeuvre a little bit, maybe feeling the scoreboard pressure. He needed a big number. Get himself up with not a lot of time to go.
I just put that one in straight away, so all eyes right now on Thomas Debiet, but he has third priority, so the priority is running with the standings at the moment. First is with Maecenas, second is with Josh Maecenas, and third is with Tom Debiet. So time is the enemy for the Caribbean surfer.
At the moment it's Navarro leading from the front here, the Brazilian. Came out the gate strong, and he stayed there throughout the heat. We won't see another wave ridden. And that is going to wrap up our penultimate heat of the first round, heat 7. Come back to beautiful Ericeira, the EDP Billabong Pro 2019, day 1 of competition. And we're going to finish out round 1 with another 4-man heat down here at the iconic surf spot of Ribeira Dilhas. We've got strong swell out in the water, some kind of testing conditions.
And as he said, Nevo, very experienced campaigner. He's one of those war horses who's been around the QS for years, just travelling the planet, and knows his way around a 4-man heat, and knows that getting off to a good start is...
The Championship Tour for about half a season, a couple of years back, finds himself back in the qualifiers. And Justin Becret, the young and up-and-coming Frenchman out of Senyos. And this is live action from our Aussie Caleb in red, swinging on a meteor wave. It's pushing a little bit sideways, and there's no real face on offer for him.
There again in November this year. Here's the replay of Caleb's second wave. So we're still waiting for a score to come in for this one. A couple of crisp turns. I think Caleb's had a bit of a growth spurt in the last year. Dude, once he hits full size. And here comes a mate from his hometown, Matt Wilkinson, from Copacabana on the central coast of New South Wales. Just Australia's hotbed of talent at the moment. And Willie with a couple of those trademark big backhand hangers to get his campaign underway. Of course, he's won Bells and Snapper, both Championship Tour events, both on his backhand. And here he goes. Low slung style up into the lip. Not going to be a massive score for Wilkinson, but feet in the wax and all that bizzo. Wilco is out. Puts him into the lead. This is a Frenchman in action.
Here goes Becret, swinging on a kind of softer wave with a bit of wobble in it. And that one never really offering him a chance to go through the inside and go through the gears there. Similar kind of thing this year in our last 10,000 before the Triple Crown. As we'll see Tancred, who has rocketed up the QS ratings in Europe already with a big result in Galicia. And he smashes a nice turn there, keeps his speed going into the bottom. Got a little bit awkward on that one. You see the wobble in the face. This wave will go from quite fat and deep to suddenly quite steep. And we'll see surfers of very accomplished technique.
A great story. He has, he's obviously part of Team Micro, Glenn Hall. Adrian Buchan has taken him to a bunch of Championship Tour events over the years, just as his little sort of Grom tag-along buddy. We've seen, the Championship Tour surfers are very familiar with seeing Caleb.
Uruguay and Georgie, this was during that cross.
Yep, so this was a second four, a 4.03. So he's established himself in second. He'd love to get rid of both of those in the remaining sort of back half of this heat. Caleb Tancred with a 5.17 and a 3.9.
Needs to definitely light his campaign up here. Let's check out live action from Becret, the Frenchman, who's been real slow in this one. That yellow board just standing out through the gloom a little bit, and he got caught on that manoeuvre there. So unable to really unleash so far. Not really able to get anything going on that one either.
There's plenty of time to go, 13 minutes, so that's going to be lucky for a couple of our surfers. Will it be Caleb Tancred, the surfer in red?
Here he goes, just kind of swooping into the bowl, did a couple of S's and let that wave stand up, and he'll flare up nicely. Doesn't quite get enough of that rotation done before he hit the flats just in front of the white water. So that'll be a throwaway score for Caleb.
Liam's an incredible surfer. He's an incredible guy out of the water as well, super smart. He's a school captain, I think, back on the Gold Coast. Here goes Caleb again.
Live action, Caleb Tancred, your heat leader in the red singlet. And he'll swing up, a little float projection manoeuvre down onto the inside. A little hit on that as well. Not really biting off too much of this wave so far, as he'll go through a relatively routine kind of redirection in Ribeira Dilhas. And just gets better and better every year. So our athletes really enjoying the facilities laid on for them. As we see an effort from Georgie, the Uruguayan, on a softer wave that kind of started deep up the point. And again, we've seen that happen several times so far this morning. Those softer inside ones, they'll go into a bit of a hole.
It's A5.1 as we see the replay, really up and over the foam, and then a long way back. Really, any of his opponents putting any points on the board, so that's a huge tactical swing for Caleb. Here's Justin Becret. He's obviously picked this one up on the inside under priority. And the brightly coloured surfboard, not a bad tactic. He's definitely going to be highlighting your moves to the judges because visibility is pretty non-existent down there at the moment.
So Becret looking to build up speed through an inside section that doesn't really pay off from him. Felt a little bit sluggish, the energy in that from him. Never really getting that bite on the rail, getting any kind of acceleration or squirt from a surfboard.
Before we caught up with him, because he did go to 2.7. This is the replay of Justin Becret. Well, he's tagged the end section, waiting for this number to come in. It's a 3.6. So that is his top score. This is live action with Caleb Tancred, heat leader, looking to upgrade that 4.37 and see if he can just get himself a little bit more breathing space over his field. He's doing it nicely. He's linked this one through to the inside, releases the tail. 2 minutes 20 to go. 26 is coming up next. Wade Carmichael, Kalani Ball, Nakajima and Ethan Ewing. And this is the replay of Caleb's. It's a great looking wave. Just found himself a smoother face in amongst a lot of the bump and wobble that's been on display so far in this round. Seamless string of turns. Might just have done enough.
Well, this will count for Wilco. Got up just before the horn, and he's looking for 4.54, and that certainly won't be it. That one will go into a hole. It won't count anyway. And
I think it was just after the horn, so too little, too late for Matt Wilkinson. Caleb Tancred and Marco Georgie through to the round of 96.